Thanks for watching Times News. You are with me, George Misinde. First, the headlines. CSOs call for tolerance among Muslims and Christians on the wearing of hijabs in school. Minister of Civic Education Timothy Ntambo engages academia on establishing National Unity Day. The World Food Programme warns that millions of refugees are on the verge of famine. We have these and other stories. Do stay with us. The Civil Society Education Coalition, CSEC, has called for tolerance among Muslims and Christians, including those under the Livingstonia Synod of the Church of Central Africa Presbyterian, CCAP, on the wearing of hijabs in school. Speaking to Times, CSEC Executive Director Benedicto Kondowe said for peace to prevail in the matter, the two parties should condone each other's needs in their various schools. Wezi Gausi has a report.
This comes after Livingstonia Synod has said it will not allow students to wear hijabs in schools barely after Public Affairs Committee PAC facilitated the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Christian-owned schools and Muslims permitting wearing of hijabs by Muslim learners in Christian schools. Kondowe says Livingstonia claimed that in Muslim schools, learners from Christian background are forced to wear hijabs.
Our expectation was that with the involvement of Public Affairs Committee, where all mother groups are represented, we're charting a new phase of religious tolerance.
Livingstonia Synod General Secretary William Tembo says the Synod is not looking at a religion per se. Muslims and Christians in the country signed a memorandum of understanding which allows female Muslim learners to wear hijabs in public and Christian-owned schools.
Minister of Civic Education and National Unity Timothy Ntambo has engaged lecturers and students from Mzuzu University on how the ministry can restore transformative national values and establish National Unity Day. The aim is to, among others, foster intercultural dialogue among different ethnic groups in the country for national unity and development purposes. Feston Malekezo has a report.
Ntambo says higher learning institutions are fundamental in shaping policies and programs which can further be aligned to the Malawi 2063. Ntambo says Malawi has diverse cultures which, if not managed well, can fuel disunity and conflicts, hence the need to embrace each other's culture. He adds that where there is peace and unity in a society, development can easily flourish.
The academia, it's quite fundamental. The reason why you have academic institutions is to shape a proper way of thinking. So conceptualizing ideas as important as a day of national unity and transformative national values, we can never ignore the academia because they advise even policymakers. So we thought we should engage academic institutions to help us to conceptualize these ideologies.
In his remarks, Nzuni's Director of Research, Wells Singini, says they have an obligation to produce students that have values.
We are the ones that are producing students, and we have an obligation to make sure that we produce students that will be able to grow with values. But at the same time, we are better placed to support the ministry through one of our department in peace, governance and security studies, and the programs that we're offering in that department.
Among others, the National Unity Day will bring all cultural groupings together where they will be showcasing their traditions every year.
The World Food Programme, WFP, has warned that millions of refugees are on the verge of famine as a result of the COVID pandemic's effect on aid budgets, which play out in funding shortages for emergency operations. WFP has made the revelation as the world commemorated World Refugees Day, which falls on June 20 every year. Wezi Gausi reports.
In a press statement, there is a significant funding shortfall across East and Southern Africa, as well as the Middle East, which has forced rations cuts upon some of the world's most vulnerable people who rely on World Food Programme to survive. World Food Malawi rolled out cash-based transfer and kick-started livelihood support activities to enhance self-reliance for refugees. However, funding shortfalls have led to a 25% ration cut since July 2020. UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, says World Refugees Day should serve as a stark reminder of the need to do more to prevent and resolve conflicts. Grandi says there is need to imperatively protect people irrespective of their race.
A survey conducted by the Malawi Law Society has revealed that most people living in Nsanje district are not aware of gender-based violence and other gender-related laws. The study targeted 127 participants, 81 of whom were men and 46 women. 62% of the respondents said they were not aware of the laws. Gary Samati has the details.
The fight against violence towards women and girls continues to prove a challenge. The findings of a survey conducted by the Malawi Law Society in Nsanje present a true reflection of the situation on the ground. The survey shows that only 38% of the 127 sample were aware of laws protecting women and girls from violence. President of the Malawi Law Society, Patrick Mpaga, says this should pose a concern in the fight against gender-based violence, as the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act was passed into law in 2006.
What's the point of having the law in the law books if the people on the ground are not aware? So I think that this has helped us to bring to the attention of the people, but also to discover. And I think that I should take this opportunity to call upon the government, especially the Ministry of Civic Education. Right? Now that we have a Ministry of Civic Education, this is their task. If you look at the Constitution, it is for the executive branch of government to ensure implementation of the laws.
The study particularly focused on the laws and policies on violence against women and girls, sexual gender-based violence, harmful practices, and sexual reproductive health and rights in Nsanje.
Meanwhile, African Sisters Education Collaborative ASEC facilitated an annual reflective learning conference on gender-based violence and child abuse for Catholic nuns from 35 congregations of all Catholic dioceses across Malawi. Gender Development Officer for Blantyre District Council, Lirani Hana Katutu, said although the influence of church leaders on society is significant, many lack knowledge or professional preparation to handle such issues. Leiweli Nimpasa has a report read by Elvis Hoahoa.
Speaking on the sidelines of the conference, Gender Development Officer for Blantyre District Council, Lirani Hana Katutu, said education has a central part to play in challenging the negative social norms that drive gender-based violence.
Here they are going to learn about some of the laws which are there to help them in the fight of gender-based violence, the gender-related issues, the gender-related laws. They are also going to learn about the consequences of gender-based violence. And when we're talking about gender-based violence, most of the times we just concentrate on the physical part, which people tend to see, and we see that a person has healed. But we forget about the emotional, the psychological part. So they are also going to learn about these issues. When they learn about the consequences themselves, it helps someone to to be able to understand, to see that the gender-based violence has a long-term effects.
ASEC coordinator for Malawi, Sister Teresa Mulenga, says ASEC recognizes that the services they provide are making a significant contribution to the advancement of sustainable human development in societies.
Gender-based violence and child abuse is affecting the people in all aspects of life. That is why sisters, being at the grassroots, we would want them to be fully equipped with the knowledge of how to handle such issues, more especially when they meet them in their apostolates. So that's why we said, let's have the sisters well equipped so that they are able to liberate people from this pandemic.
Sister Mariam Biliati of the Missionaries of Mary Mediatrice and students in bachelors in nursing and midwifery at Catholic University of Malawi said the seminar has enlightened them on how to address gender-based violence and child abuse in their congregations.
The knowledge that we get from this workshop, it will help me to be able to teach others that this gender-based violence, it can come to an end.
ASEC aims to be a sustainable organization with a proven capacity to develop and deliver educational programs for women religious groups in Africa.
The Water and Environment Sanitation Network, Westnest, has held the government for increasing the allocation for water, sanitation and hygiene to 90 billion kwacha in the 2020-2021 national budget. The allocation has been increased by 63 billion kwacha from 27 billion kwacha, which was allocated in the previous national budget. Matthews Kasanda has the details.
Westnet National Coordinator Willis Mwandira says water, hygiene and sanitation are human rights issues. As such, there is a need to be allocating enough resources to the sector. Mwandira said this when the network met the Women Caucus of Parliament to lobby them to focus on menstrual hygiene for girls in school.
We feel that that should be the way. Government should be able to allocate sufficient resources to wash, because in wash there are important elements like water and issues of sanitation and hygiene.
Chairperson for the Parliamentary Women Caucus, Loni Chijeri Piri, says the caucus has also been pushing for the government to allocate more resources to water, sanitation and hygiene.
We are very happy that they are also being concerned of the same, and we feel that this is a very good issue, and we are ready to take it to the Minister of Finance to look into it and see whether he can actually do what they are requesting, that they should take off the tax on the sanitary towels, or see the other way around.
Westnet is an umbrella body of civil society organizations that deal with water, sanitation and hygiene in Malawi.
The Tea Association of Malawi has singled out green tea as another green gold to invest in if the country is to remain relevant in the tea business. This follows a decline in demand for black tea as more people now opt for green tea. Wezi Gausi reports.
Industrial Relations Secretary for the association, Flemings Mibawa, says although the country is projected to make about 50 billion kwacha this year as compared to last year where they made 45 billion kwacha, but tea farming is facing challenges. He says as the country, they don't set minimum prices for tea, but if their competitors like Kenya Tea is overproduced, their prices becomes very low. Mibawa emphasized on the need to expand their production as tea has got healthy benefits. Executive Director for Sisanet, Pamela Kuwali, says she could not comment on the association wish. She says as an organization, tea is not a value chain that they deal with. Malawi is the top 3 tea producer in Africa. Tea industry is the largest formal sector employer in Malawi, employing about 50,000 workers and providing livelihoods to more than 14,000 smallholders.
This is Times News. We'll be back with more shortly.
your gums hurt?
Yeah.
Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
The summer of soccer is here, and becoming the premier bet soccer hero is all about making the right selections. It's time to trust your natural instincts, to believe in yourself, be brave. Because there's the premier bet jackpot of $100,000 for the taking. So never give up. Bet now and receive up to a 250% winning bonus. Premier Bet Soccer Hero. It's all in the selections.
Welcome back. The Blantyre Synod of the CCAP has urged Christian university students under the church to be agents of information in their respective colleges. The Synod's General Secretary, Reverend Billy Gama, met the call at Namingazi Training Center in Zomba during a 3-day leadership training of the CCAP Students Organization. The Reverend said the students need to be well versed in the Word of God if they are to become productive citizens of the country. Gama explains.
This training is very, very important. It is important because the youth, they are always in the majority in our church. But also, these are university and college students. These are the cream in the church, but also the cream in the country. But for them to be good contributors, I gave them a topic on how to close the back door. We need them as a synod. I'm saying we have a back door which is open. Members joining the church openly. We see them coming through catechumen. We see them coming through adult baptism. We see them coming through transfers. But when they are leaving the church, we don't see them. And we have lost a lot of young generation in the colleges and universities. So this training is providing possible solutions, how best we can train. These are leaders from different colleges and universities. These are more like we are training trainer of trainers.
Atanasio Mkundika, CCAP Students Organization's traveling secretary, said they organized the training so that the students are equipped with leadership skills.
We organized this training to get our leaders well equipped. We want leaders who know what they're doing and where they're going. So that's why we organized this training, to help them get well equipped. Well, so far so good. We are seeing a very great change. We are seeing a very big change in our institutions. In the various colleges where this is coming from, we are seeing a very big change. And now that they have been equipped, we expect that the change will even be greater than the way it has been.
The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes UNODC Operations Director Miwa Kato says her organization will continue to help Malawi achieve its goals to eliminate human trafficking. Kato was speaking to journalists after a week-long visit to Malawi. Rebecca Jimjeka has compiled this report, read by Blessings Mpinganjira.
The UN director says the fight against human trafficking requires collective efforts.
And what we need to do are much bigger things in responding to this type of crime.
One is really to increase awareness. A lot of people get trafficked without knowing that they are being subjected to a criminal act.
Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare, Patricia Galiati, has asked the UN body to help Malawi in other areas such as construction of more victim shelters and training of security officers.
It shows that UN is also committed, especially to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as we're approaching the 2030, that we don't leave anyone behind.
During the visit, MIWA donated beds, mattresses and blankets to trafficking victims. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime is resident in Vienna, Australia, where MIWA Kato serves as director. MIWA was in the country to understand the challenges Malawi has in the fight against trafficking.
Minister of Youth and Sports Ulemu Msungama says government plans to make Blantyre City Marathon a national competition. Msungama made the remarks when he graced this year's event, which retained after a year's break due to COVID pandemic. Isaac Salima reports.
Mpaso Nadolo and Nalise Chirwa respectively defended their titles in men and ladies categories to win the Blantyre City Marathon. However, despite an improvement from 2019 edition, their impressive performance was not good enough as they failed to beat a 2-hour 18-minute record, which was previously set by seasoned athlete Henry Moyo, for them to miss the 500,000 watt extra prize which sponsors had put on the table. Zomba-based Nadolo clocked 2 hours 22 minutes to beat his 2019 record when he made it in 2 hours 29 minutes, while Chira covered the 42.195 kilometer distance in 3 hours 4 minutes to emerge ladies champion. Impressed by the competition, Nsungama said he has since urged officials at the Malawi National Council of Sports to make this event national.
It has been a tendency when the Minister of Youth and Sports is being treated as a Minister of Youth and Football and Netball. This is not the case with this administration, and the President has always encouraged me to say, make sure you balance. There's nothing like a minority sport. It just depends on how people participate in whatever sports that we do. So I wanted to say that this is one of them. Look at how people participated in the relay race. There's been a lot of sporting activities here happening in Blantyre.
Nadolo said he was pleased to defend the title this year. Veteran Kefas Kasten finished second, while Rondajan Cherenje won the bronze medal. In ladies, Dodds Fisher claimed the silver accolade, while Caroline Blade was third. Chairperson of the organizing committee, Martin Maturu, said he was happy that the competition continue registering success.
He participated in all these events and interacted with the people as well. The other success story with aerobics, we partnered with the best organized group that does aerobics in town. And the publicity of this was very good, so much so that even foreign or international athletes wanted to participate. There were two that expressed interest to participate, but they failed to participate because of some other logistical issues in terms of visa processing, etc., etc. But all in all, it's been a success.
69 athletes took part in this year's event, compared to 47 that participated in 2019's edition.
With that report, we've come to the end of the news, but before we go, the headlines once again. CSOs call for tolerance among Muslims and Christians on the wearing of hijabs in school. Minister of Civic Education Timothy Ntambo engages academia on establishing National Unity Day. The World Food Programme warns that millions of refugees are on the verge of famine. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly. Observe social and physical distance and mask up. Please stay safe. You've been with me, George Misinde.